We are now moving to our committee report. First up, we have our legislative committee report by Chief Jamie Donovan.
I'm trying to get through this real quick, y'all. We got a bunch of stuff going on. Just a couple things. We met with the governor's office, met with a lot of House members, a lot of Senate members about a lot of things going on this year. I think we're going to be excited about some of the things we got going on. We did get the governor. He put in $850,000 for USAR, and he put that in his budget. Last year, Jonathan asked for $1 million. They gave him a little over 150, so they cut it to 150 this year. We're supporting LLR and the fire marshal's office on that. There is a bill based on retirement, and if you are retired, that money would be tax exempt. That is in the governor's budget. That's hopefully that's going to go through for the retirees. The volunteer incentive, there is a bill 461, Senate Bill 461 volunteer incentive to change that from 3,000 to 6,000. That program. We have also asked, and the governor put it in his budget to, as most of y'all know, with our FAST team, the CPSD program, we've been getting $250,000. If anyone's been fled, we've asked that to go straight to the fire marshal's office, and that $250,000 would not be a proviso. That $250,000 would be recurring money to keep our FAST team up and running the year again. So we're supporting that. Where's my big? Return to work still in talks, and as we know, that's been going on for a couple of years now. The $10,000 cap's still there. There is a discussion in return to work that if you're out 12 months, that you can come back to work. There was some discussion on the Senate side to maybe take that to 24 months. There's still a lot of talks there. Also, as you saw, building codes. It did get through subcommittee, and building codes on the residential side. Correct me if I'm on keeping straight here. On the building code, Senate 796. The building code on residential would switch from 3 years to 6 years. It does not affect the commercial code, but only the residential code. They could go out 2 cycles. B-Safe, there's actually 2 B-Safe bills, a Senate bill and a House bill. One of them is taking the funding for B-Safe is going to actually about quadruple it. The amount of money, that's a bill put in by Brian White from the Anderson area. And then there's some other things on the Senate side to try to continue that bill on the bank part side of that. The big guy that we've kind of been looking at, 2 things before I get into the cancer side. There was a gentleman, a representative from Lexington, who had started a South Carolina First Responder Caucus. There's a group of about 8 or 10 members of the House that are a member of that caucus, and they have, Representative Wooten from Lexington County was the one that started that. There's a good group of them that have kind of stood behind us and told us they were definitely going to back us on a lot of different things and to come to them if we had any concerns. One of the things we do have concerns we've been talking about for many years is cancer. We've been talking workers' comp, and you've probably seen a lot of things on social media about Bill 4147. That is a cancer bill that's out there. That is based through workers' comp. We know we're going to get a lot of pushback on that bill, so we've actually gone a different direction. I've got Tracy, our Health and Safety, Health and Safety Committee. Tracy's been working with me on this, and so he's going to kind of give some details on kind of how we got to where we are, but I want to tell you where we are. We've got a bill that we hope is going to be dropped sometime this coming week, and that bill is more of an insurance bill. If you're familiar how we handle the FAST team and PTSD insurance policy, we're asking the legislators to fund an insurance policy of about a $3.5 million cost as it currently is wrote. And that insurance policy will provide really 3 benefits to a firefighter, any firefighter, whether they are volunteer, whether they are paid, a benefit. And that benefit would be a death benefit of $75,000 if you die from cancer. It would also give you $20,000 per diagnosis. If you're diagnosed with this type of cancer, they would write you a check for $20,000 to kind of help you get through that financial hardship during that process. The third part of that would be a $12,000 expenses if you have any kind of unreimbursed medical expenses, whether it be your prescriptions, whether it be co-pays, whether it be deductibles, anything like that, you could get up to reimbursed up to $12,000 per rolling calendar year, 12 months from diagnosis, and then it would reset itself again after 12 months. We feel like we've got everybody on board. We've talked to Chiefs Association, we've talked to professional firefighters. Everybody's on board with this bill. We've got some friends that work for the Municipal Association, the Association of Counties, that we hope to soon have a letter from them supporting this bill. We were at the State House roughly 2 weeks ago and literally had House members coming up to us and some senators. Hey, look, we want to support this bill. Y'all tell us what to support. There's a huge group of senators and House representatives down in Columbia that want to do something for the firefighters in this state as far as cancer. So we're excited and hope that's going to go. I want to bring Tracy up to kind of talk about how we got to this point, because I think it's very interesting that it was just health and safety. Charlie, Joe, anything I'm forgetting? Legislative day, March 24th, right? 18th. Y'all right? They keep me straight. March 18th, we'll start at 10 o'clock. March 18th at 10 o'clock. Excuse me, I'm right in front of that. Y'all do that. At the State House, it'll be just like I always do them. Please come, please come. I will tell you, once this cancer bill gets dropped, a lot of people are going to see an email from us. We want you to go see your House members. We want you to go see your senators before March 18th and get them on board with this cancer bill. Because the more people we get on board, the easier and the quicker this bill is going to get passed.
Great. Thank you. Good morning. Just to give you a little history on the coalition that was formed. I guess it was early fall. You probably seen on some type of social platform, Cancer South Carolina, Cancer South Carolina, Cancer South Carolina. So the forethought, just to give you an update, was to bring all these different agencies together, was come to the table, come up with a solution, and then go from there, which we did. Our first meeting was in October. It went very well. We built off of that, meeting again in November and again in December. So after these meetings, there was a lot of good conversations. Actually came up with the rough draft for the bill, and hopefully, like we said, this week it'll be presented. Just to give you a little bit more about some of the things that health and safety is doing, in those coalition meetings, we heard a lot of information coming back. What are we, the fire service, doing? There are departments out there that are doing a lot, and I applaud you for that. But there's departments that are not doing, and we need to do our part to educate our people to help prevent cancer. So, starting in the next couple months, we will start doing a clip a week on the social media platform, one relating to cancer, the next week relating to safety, the next week will be relating to fitness, and then the next week we'll do a behavior. And it'll just kind of keep rotating. So we'll have that information out there for you. April the 28th, mark your calendars. Fire Academy out here. They're doing a program called the Fire Service Occupational Cancer Regional Seminar. This is an all-day seminar from 8:30 to 5. Lunch is provided free. They're bringing in 4 speakers, 4 or 5? Okay, 4 speakers that are experts in this field. They'll be talking about research and the needs for data, the risk factors, healthy lifestyles, exposure reductions, strategies, and support. So I feel like it'll be a great day. It should be, if it's not already, on the portal. So take the time to look at it and sign up for it.
That date was
April the 28th. If you remember back in a quarterly meeting in October, we talked about exposures, tracking your exposures. I actually found out yesterday in our Health and Safety Committee, there is an app now that you have on your phone that you can download and track your exposures. This all goes in with the cancer-related information also. We need to be doing a better job of tracking our exposures. So, if you will just search, it's called The Fire Service Occupational Cancer Regional, excuse me, I'm sorry, I've got my notes all over the place. But anyway, I'll get that information out to you in an email. It's National Fire Operations Reporting System. There it is. It is an app that will track your exposures. You can go online during it, after it, put your event in, the date in, and it tracks your exposures. There's several websites out there that you can do that, but you have to be on the desktop. But this one allows you to be an app where you can do it on scene or right after you get back to the station. Just a quick note, we did meet yesterday, had a good productive meeting. The Health and Safety Committee will meet legislation day at 1 o'clock. And several months ago, back in the early fall, we were asking for data. We need the data for the cancer. We did had a survey that we put out. We actually, Rick, can see it here? How many 100 or so responses on the data already?
From firefighters, we had 175, and fire departments, which is the chief that we responded to, we had over 250.
So we're getting our data. That information is still out there. If you hadn't completed that, we'd ask you to do that. But we have said in the beginning that we would do a drawing during this conference. And we have Raleigh Reynolds with us today, and he has donated 6 of the particulate flash hoods. So we're going to draw 6 names out of the box. And then also, Carney Strong Foundation is going to donate one of their cancer prevention packets to a department that we draw here in just a minute. Oh, yep. Draw it out, call the name. Diana Woods.
Come back for a picture.
Second one? James Webb. James Webb here. If not, we'll hanging out. We'll get it to him. Mike Peach. Mike Peach. All right, that's number 3. We'll get the information to him. William Daniel. Everett Moore. Colton Webb. All right. Well, we'll get that information, Ron. We appreciate that. Appreciate the help about the support. Great words. They're all in that box. They're all in the box? Okay. Now these are all the departments that in Carney Strong Foundation is donating online training, 2 gallons of gear cleaner, 10 bars of soap, master case of fire wipes, and 3 cases of responder wipes. So, Chief,
New Gary,
this is a name Barry Frost, and he's with Duncan Fire, Chief of Duncan Fire Department in Scarborough County. Thank you again, and if you haven't taken the time, please get the information, do the survey. It doesn't take just a few minutes. We need that data. It's critical. We're in a data-driven world, and we need that information. So if you would take the time, you haven't already done so, we certainly appreciate it. Mr. President.
Good morning. This is my report on behalf of the Finance and Audit Committee. Currently, we are undergoing our 2018-2019 financial audit. Normally that comes around about this time when we hit about the second quarter of the fiscal year for the association. So far, we received favorable results, which is good for us. One of the things that we typically run into is where they come in and they test the internal controls to make sure that we have methods to track spending, those things, to make sure that we don't have any financial improprieties and things of that nature. Record keeping is huge as well. And so far, what we had is, over the past week is that Green Penny has come on site and they've conducted their audit. And what we've received so far is that we've done a really good job of record keeping and internal control. So what we're hoping for is to get what they call an unqualified opinion. Unqualified opinion means, hey, we did a job. So that's what we're looking forward to having occur. See, and anybody know Brian Baker? Anybody know who that guy is? If you don't know him, find him. Whenever you see him, shake his hand. He is our internal accountant, and he is awesome. Without his record keeping, we really have a big challenge because the association is very, very complex as far as how funds come in, what goes out, and cash flow. So Brian Bailey is your guy. Make sure you shake his hand. Make sure you thank him. As of right now, once again, we really expect to receive an unqualified report, which is great for us. So our staff, thanks. You guys are doing a wonderful job. And Mr. President, that'll be my report.
Mr. President, on behalf of the Member Benefits Committee, we've been working on lots of initiatives over this last year. 2 of them being, I think, our top priorities. Number 1 is keeping our benefits strong, making sure that that's a robust package, okay? Number 2 is when you guys all came in today, in your seat, couldn't find one of these, pick them up. Number 2 is being able to communicate to our members what those strong benefits are. And our staff has done a great job putting together some awesome marketing materials. The first one I want to point out is this beautiful brochure, this tab with each one of the different benefits that we have as members. The second one is a little kind of a takeaway brochure that we can pass out. And these aren't that expensive in terms of comparing to the big one, okay? So, Serena, help me out here. Are we going to mail these?
Yep, so every department's going to get one of those, or maybe 2 of those, to each department in the state. And then we can give out as many pamphlets as you want. The idea was just to be able to, for chiefs, to be able to give to each one of your members of your department something that briefly overviews the association. So we wanted to be able to have that for all our members. But we're gonna put everything online, so it's gonna be great. The book's gonna be tabbed, so you can send them there. You can make copies of the smaller brochure, offline yourself, but we'll always keep those in there.
And we also have the poster. And the idea behind the poster is so that we can take the poster, put it up at the fire academy, put it up in your fire station, put it up lots of locations, so as your new members are there, or people, just cruising to the firehouse, they can see these, they can, oh, yeah, there's one of my benefits, something to refer back to. We've been needing to do this for a long time, and thanks to the insurance company, with the association, it's helped to fund this, because the print material is not cheap, right? Which has always been a hurdle, is trying to find the financing. So thanks to the board members of the insurance company and to the staff, we got some awesome material that we can get out to our members to showcase what we actually do for them. The last thing we want to do for you is we want to show you a video that I think has been fantastic. I saw this 2 weeks ago at our last committee meeting, and I asked the staff if we could kind of hold this off and debut the video today for the conference, and we're going to go ahead and get this out after today. But Renee, kind of tell us about the video as well.
And before we get off the poster really quick, I think Rick and Rick came up with a QR scan, so that way it takes you, if you scan that, it takes you right to the video. No, it takes you right to our association webpage, and all the information is there. So it's just a neat little added thing to the poster. Basically, for the past 14 years now that I've been with the association, we have gone to all of your departments and done presentations, PowerPoint presentations. Well, we know that times are changing and we're becoming more video-based, and our attention spans aren't 45 minutes of hearing me talk, so they're down to 2 minutes of hearing somebody else talk. And so we're just trying to reach all ages of the fire service and try to change a little things, our communication style. So we got together and produced this, and I think it'd be good. It'll also be online, so you can show it to all your members as well. And like I said, it's just a glimpse of what we are, but we're here to go in more depth of anything that you may need or have questions.
I think you guys are going to love the video. Mr. President, I'm going to close my report with this video.
The SC State Firefighters Association, founded in 1905, has dedicated itself to member benefits. In 2005, the association chartered its own insurance company to service its members and be the leader in quality of products and benefits available to you, the membership. Your department pays $40 annually for each member that you and your family may be financially protected. The $40 is broken down into two parts, $9 membership dues and $31 the benefits package. What we will show you today is what that benefit looks like and the people and steps set in place to help you in the event you need it. You have a group life insurance benefit of $1,600 and a 24-hour accidental death and dismemberment benefit of $3,400. You also have several line of duty coverages to include a line of duty death benefit of $25,000, $75 weekly income protection, impairment benefits, and several others that you or your beneficiaries would receive in a time of need.
It is fast and easy to file a claim. Forms can be found on our website, and we encourage you to call our staff anytime to let us help you through the process. We partner with Provident, a company who has a rich history in pioneering innovative insurance benefits and coverages. They have been insuring America's heroes since 1928. With specific partnership and targeted coverages, we can ensure that you, the members, have a wide variety of the best products on the market today. The SC State Firefighters Association Trust allows departments to provide major medical and ancillary benefits through the lead provider in SC Blue Cross and Blue Shield of SC and McGriff Insurance. Colonial Life allows our members to preserve and protect the things you work so hard to build through financial protection benefits. Nationwide provides our members with individual personal lines of home, auto, luxury items, and much more. Legal Shield provides our members the opportunity to have peace of mind through identity protection and legal help to our members.
MASA provides industry-leading medical transportation solutions for our members, both during life and after life, and to provide peace of mind for our members as they prepare for the financial burden that follows life's biggest emergencies. You and your department have the opportunity to take advantage of our full-service company, The organization gives directly back to the fire service and your association to assist in programs and the best benefits to our members. Our mission is to you, our members.
Thank you, Mr. President. Guys, Billy Dillon, Chairman of the Training and Education Committee. First off, thank you all for being here. One of the many training opportunities that's offered by the association. Also, I want to take this time to thank y'all for the ones that was able to come out last night to Howell Springs and enjoy a meal with us. It was really impressive to have everybody there, and I've learned one thing. Lock my computer when I'm going to have whoever put Chief Atkinson's picture as a screensaver, it did wake me up this morning. Yeah, the one chuckling in the front is my first person to think. But we got June 8th through the 14th. The committee and the staff's been working hard on your fire and rescue conference coming up. Got some great instructors coming back and some new ones that's going to be presenting your especially in hot classes and also the lecture classes. You are not going to want to miss it this year. It's going to be under one roof. All the vendors are going to be under one roof this year. I always get them backwards, so I'm going to look at my paper. They're going to be at the Columbia Metropolitan Convention Center. And the vendor registration is already open, so if you know vendors, tell them the registration is already open to start getting that information in. Also, to continue with the training, we've trying to improve and make it better for you. A lot of the volunteer firefighters have spoken out and said, hey, you know, the hot classes are at the beginning of the week, we can't get off work, and by the time we're able to get down there on Saturday, everything's wrapping up, not too many classes to take. So what we've done is we've put some hot classes on the tail end of the convention this year, or the conference. So the volunteers will have a chance to come in on Saturday and Sunday and take part in some of the hot classes that they would have missed at the beginning of the week. So we're hoping that's going to work out great. It's going to work out great if you'll go home and pass this on to your members. A lot of them, it's going to be new for them, and they're not going to go online and read all the information, and they may miss that. And we want these classes to be full. We want it to be a success. Definitely looking for another great conference this year. Be sure to visit firerescuesc.org for the most up-to-date information. It changes probably weekly with new instructors and stuff coming in. And LaQuasia, Ashley, myself, and other committee members, we're going to be here all weekend. So if you need any information, any suggestions, any complaints, please let us know. That's the only way we're going to improve. I will say, this being my first year as chair, I just want to, we've got a great committee on the Training and Education Committee. So I was blessed to be handed that committee, and I look forward to working with these guys. Also, we got Chief Jones and Chief Ray that's going to be speaking on some stuff on the academy. In just a few minutes. I appreciate y'all taking the time to be here this weekend and sharing that with us. So thank you, President. That concludes my report.
Mr. President, Brian Christmas, the chair of your Bylaws committee. Instead of me sitting up here trying to explain everything, I do have a video we'll let you watch, but I encourage you to go to the association's website and look. It kind of gives a breakdown of what the changes that we're asking you to look at and vote on in June. So, hello, I'm Division Chief Brian Christmas of the Sumter Fire Department. I'm your chairman of the South Carolina State Firefighters Association's Bylaws Committee, and I'm speaking with you today about changes that your executive committee has approved for your consideration during the 2020 South Carolina Fire Rescue Conference. Your Bylaws Committee, along with the Executive Committee, is asking for your vote to approve 2 additions to the Constitution to ensure members are given the opportunity to represent their fire departments, and also 4 other recommended changes to the bylaws. First, let me talk with you about the Constitution changes. The constitutional changes that are being proposed are to ensure that your department is given the opportunity to select voting members, which will serve for 1 year upon selection for the years beginning October 1st and ending September 30th. Now let me answer the why. We are proposing these constitutional changes due to an unfortunate lack of voting member selection by the member departments. A vital role of any member benefits organization is member participation. Your primary method to effect change and offer direction is through your voting member. The first step is choosing those voting members. This change will firm up and help ensure that all departments have opportunity to be part of the future of the association. The association has nearly 500 departments and should have around 1,100 delegates selected each year. We've had as low as 300. The Bylaws Committee feels that we must ensure that all 17,500 members have a chance to be represented and heard. We are also proposing several bylaws changes that affect the internal operation of the association. First, let's talk about the term delegate and voting member. Persons who have served in this chair many times before me have crafted a great set of bylaws. We wouldn't be here if that were not the case. But changes to the association bylaws are needed to modernize terminology and reflect those that are selected to vote by changing the term delegate to voting member. The term delegate is defined as a person sent or authorized to represent others, in particular an elected representative sent to a conference. As it relates to the association, this term has been used in our association's bylaws from its inception until recent years, when a delegate was required to attend the annual conference to cast a vote in person. But as technology has progressed, the delegate can now vote electronically. The term delegate makes me think that it is someone we send. It is not that way anymore. But the term voting member implies that you are our department's voting person for the duration of the year. You are the face and voice, not just a person that goes to a conference. Remember, anyone can attend the annual South Carolina Fire Rescue. We as a department want to pick our voting member. Just a word change, but one we think can help change the mindset to the way we operate today. Now to the role of the first vice president. Currently, your first vice president has a free year. No committees chaired, and the wisdom behind this, when it was done, was to give that person a chance to prepare for his or her upcoming and busy year as president. Feedback from persons in that role have not mirrored that view. Instead, we propose to change that year for the first vice president to the chair of the Finance and Audit Committee. The recommended changes for the elected position of first vice president is to bolster the position's understanding of the association's finances prior to becoming president. But those changes, which we feel are more productive, will lead to other executive committee board role changes. Let's first look at the fourth vice president's role. Currently, the fourth vice president chairs the advisory committee, making choices about awardees and resolutions. Again, this was done to give that newly elected person a chance to learn the operation of the executive committee, and we feel that it's valid. We, though, would like to propose a change to that to complement the idea of that newly elected learning curve. We propose in the bylaws changes that the fourth vice president, as the newly elected executive committee member, shall rotate through 3 key committees: Finance and Audit, Training and Education, Legislative, and the Fire Rescue Conference, to provide an in-depth understanding of 4 key areas of the association. He or she would serve as an ex officio on all these boards, rotating each quarter to ensure a good understanding of each of the upcoming vital roles they will play. Additionally, the fourth vice president will no longer chair the advisory committee. This position will now be an appointed position by the association's president. Advisory is still a standing committee. It doesn't change the number of or balance of power on the executive committee, but the advisory chair will now be appointed by the president as change, but one again we feel can make things run smoother. The work that was done before us on our great association's constitution and bylaws was time-tested and true, a great value, but constant review and minor improvements are of huge value in assuring the relevancy and efficiency of your association. We believe and hope you do too that these changes will modernize and ensure efficacy and accountability to your South Carolina State Firefighters Association. Please feel free to contact your association bylaws or executive committee members to ask questions or make contacts. We would love to come to you and discuss these changes in person. These changes will be mailed out to all departments in the spring of 2020 and voted on at the business meeting of the annual fire rescue in June 2020. We look forward to seeing you then. Thank you for your commitment and service. Any questions on that? Questions or comments, anyone? I would ask that you get back to your departments or areas, and if you have Twitter or anything like that, make sure that you share it so everybody will get to see it. Go to the association website and look at the changes so you understand them and really support what we're asking you to support. That's the end of mine.
Good morning, everybody. Those that don't know me, I'm Ryan Eubanks. I'm the chair of the EMS committee for you. I have a few things that I think I should make you aware of. Those of you that respond to EMS calls, but more specifically those that are licensed agencies or have credentialed personnel. Our committee received notification this week from Chief Florence SC that the EMS regulation is going to open this year. Notice the draft of that regulation changes again in February, and from February to May, there will be 5 stakeholder meetings that will be held across the state to gather our opinions and changes that we may want to make. So I ask you and implore you to visit those stakeholder meetings if you wish to be involved. Contact any of the EMS committee members and let's chat, and so we can gain and understand your perspectives about regulation change. Most of the conversation about regulation change now is basically an equipment list for rapid responder agencies and changes to EMT instructor wording to make it easier. Currently, you have to be a paramedic to be an EMT instructor. They're wanting to change that to where you could be a tenured EMT to be an EMT instructor. That's a big deal for the state fire service. So those things are going. But so February through May, there'll be 5 meetings. August the 13th is when the notice to publish should be. So all changes should have occurred before then. November the 12th will be the date for final notice. And then in January, hopefully it goes to the legislature. So, but we want to make sure that we get all of our opinions in the building phase, because if it makes it to the legislature and then we pop in with a whole bunch of opinions, they're going to kick it back to Chief Ronsky and they'll have to start the whole process over again. So another thing that's out there, and it'll affect some of you, there's a EMR to EMT bridge pilot program that's out there that are trying to take national registered EMRs to national registered EMTs. It's still a developing program, so we still have a little bit of time for input. I think it's a good thing. There appears to be 2 pilot programs that are going to go here sometime soon as it's developing. I know one in Lexington County is supposed to go, one in the upstate, most likely Oconee County. I've heard rumors that there are other people that are interested in the pilot. Please communicate with me or any of the committee members if you have people that are national registered EMRs that would like to go to national registered EMT. I'd love to get you involved. One other thing that I went last week to the training subcommittee of PHEX Advisory Board. The training committee passed the mandate mental health training, self-awareness and peer support type training that's going to be mandated to all new EMTs and above. And then there will also be continual education. So those of you that are credentialed, you'll at some point in the future, is still in the build-up. It's still moldable right now. We can make some changes to it, but you're going to see that in your national registry component under state hours that mental health training is occurring. So those are the 3 things I have. We'd love for your input to come. Contact me. If you don't know who your members are, you can get on the association website and find them. So.
Good afternoon. I'm Mr. President. I'm Brian Brazier. I serve as Advisory Committee Chairman. The Advisory Committee is currently accepting applications for awards to be presented at the 2020 Fire Rescue in Columbia. That's coming up in June. The big thing to know is these applications are due by January 31st. So we got about 6 days. So we got to get busy on this. We have several awards to include Medal of Valor, Firefighter of the Year, Meritorious Action, Instructor of the Year, Lifetime Achievement Award, Hall of Fame, Media Award, Citizenship, and Fitness in Action. If you know of someone or a department that is deserving, be sure you visit our website at scfirefighters.org. You can complete the application or view the description of each of these awards. Again, remember, the 31st is the deadline, so we need to get these awards in as soon as possible, these nominations. That's my report, Mr. President.
Good afternoon. I get the honor of introducing your 2019 leadership graduates. The South Carolina State Firefighters Association Leadership Institute is a year-long program that focuses on leadership development and educational processes in an executive level environment, emphasizing communication, group-based project skills, and individual presentation skills. Over the past 12 months, 12 individuals from organizations around our state have come together to forge an everlasting bond that only a few have had the chance to experience from a program of this significance. These future state leaders have experienced many topics ranging from volunteer fire service in rural South Carolina to career municipal fire service in Metro City, the legal issues facing our fire service leaders, our legislative process, and executive leadership lessons from a corporate perspective. We are excited to present to you today our 9th graduating class. And we ask that you please hold your applause to the end. First, Keith Draven, Horry County Fire Rescue. Jamie Helms, City of Columbia Fire Department. Henry Hickman, Myrtle Beach Fire Rescue. Sam Negron, Ladies Island St. Helena Fire Department. Christian Rainey, North Charleston Fire Department. Nick Ray, North Spartanburg Fire Department. Joshua Sack, Georgetown County Fire Rescue. Damon Spann, Aiken Public Safety. Mac Thomas, Rock Hill Fire Department. Brent Turner, Dorchester County Fire Rescue. Health, Taylor's Fire Department. Chris Weaver, Gaffney Fire Department. Please join me in a round of applause.
Good afternoon, I'm Malcolm Burns, I am your third vice president now. I have the distinct pleasure of introducing the new class of Leadership Institute. Leadership for me has been transformative. It was probably the greatest thing in my career as a firefighter, and I wouldn't change it for the world. I would implore you, if you haven't applied for it, if you're interested in becoming a part of the association, have a little bit better understanding of your state, please do. So without any further ado, let me introduce our new 2020 class Leadership Institute. Ryan Allen, Georgetown County Fire EMS. Come on down. Blake Cole, Westview Fairport. Martin Dixon, Taylor's Fire Department. Ryan Gollin, City of Beaufort Fire Department. Joshua Jordan, Clarendon County Fire Department. Brad Kovetsky, Horry County Fire Department. Floyd McJunkin, Beaconsfield Fire Department. Andrew Morris, City of Newberry. Marvin Murray, Sherall Fire Department. Timothy David Owens, Oconee County. William Peoples, Chester Fire Department. Oh, and last but not least, Matt Tidwell, City of Greer Fire Department. Please join me in a round of applause for these. Thank y'all very much. Congratulations.
We're going to back up 1 second. I think the 2019 group will say something at the podium.
So it either pays to be the valedictorian or they all lied, and I'm the back of the class. They lied. A lot of truth in that. Got some notes, but just want to take a moment on behalf of my class, Class 19, to thank the association and thank the state for the opportunity that we had to participate in the program. It's been very eye-opening. It's been a very beneficial program. Really enjoyed it. I think we all agree that we're going to miss getting together. At first, we didn't really know each other. Who are you? But I'd say right before halfway through the year, it became a thing that we look forward to every month of getting together and really enjoying one another's company and just picking minds. And some of the best conversations we had were really late at night. Imagine that. But, you know, we need to thank a few people. First being Executive Director Charlie King and the association staff and Chief Minnick. And I think it would be wrong if I didn't say if it wasn't for Ashley and Carter, this program wouldn't run. Those two are the backbone of this thing. And that's not to take away from anybody else that committed time to the program. But they were FaceTime with us. They were with us every trip, everything that we did. And just a true blessing in all of our lives, I believe. Just to boast on the program, if I don't know what the application stack looked like coming into class 20, but if it wasn't overwhelming, that's a disappointment. This program is so beneficial. I can't even begin to tell you. We could talk all day about what we learned this year. But the things that you get from it, it's a huge think tank. Not only for our own departments, but for the state. The programs that and projects that we put out, I think there are things that can be built on by the association, can be built on by the Fire Academy, can be built on by local organizations if it fits a need that they have. The networking and exposure has been unreal. Can't thank that enough. But the investment is probably the biggest part of it. It's an investment of time on behalf of Carter and Ashley and the staff, but investment of our time. You know, we miss things as families, family time, events, that type of thing. The resources that get dumped into this, not only the money, but it's money well spent. But there's a lot of moving parts in the background. Seeing the fire conference from the back of it instead of as a student, change your opinion of the whole conference. I promise you that, you sweat just so much. Just unbelievable. There was an investment in Carter's patience because he had to deal with me for a year, and the ones that learned to know me, you know what that's about. So he's here. He happened to be the first person I ran into in the hotel lobby last night, or yesterday when I got here. That was very timely. For me, being an instructor, I kind of am taken back to a good verse from the Bible, that's Galatians 6:6. It says, nevertheless, and when he receives instruction of the word, should share all good things with their instructor. And I feel like that they poured into us, and I think we poured back into them. Carter probably didn't want a lot of what I poured back into him. But nevertheless, it is what it is, and I feel like moving forward, we're going to be able to pour back into the association, into the state, through the different avenues of influence that we each have respected to our interest in the fire service. But, you know, to just kind of bring it to an end of tie here, I'm going to talk about a notable philosopher in time from a Lincoln car commercial, Matthew McConaughey. He put out this just awesome quote. You know, sometimes you got to go back to actually move forward. And I don't mean going back to reminisce or chase ghosts. I mean going back to see where you come from. And I think one of the most impressive, I guess, gatherings that we had was one where Carter actually took us back through the history of the South Carolina Fire Service. That was one I enjoyed. I like history. So it was very interesting to me. We learned about his time in Manning and the South Carolina Fire Service and the fire horses that I think he probably used. His book would suggest otherwise. We got to take a trip down to North Charleston Fire Department and we're treated to that rich culture and history down there between North Charleston and the City of Charleston Fire Department. Robbie, Florence Fire, they took us on a joint trip up to Appleton, Wisconsin. Carter will never fly with me again. I'm almost confident. For the new class, wherever you guys went to, I think you're still here. If you go to Sumter, you know, you need to thank Fire Chiefs Ford, Christmas, and Dugan down at Sumter Fire. Really awesome day we got to spend down there, and my God, these people feed you. So start a diet now. When I started this, I was his side. And I think probably the most humbling experience for me and most of these gentlemen right here was going realizing that the problems you have in your fire department are so insignificant to the challenges that region of the state faces. Unbelievable. And for you guys, since we don't have them, but go ahead and flip your imaginary tassels because we graduated. So that's cool. But some life milestones that we experienced. We've had people that have been promoted during this year, new children born. Some of them graduated college. One of them got their master's degree. We've got a member that's already going to try to have an impact on the association by running for the 4th VP office, Chief Helms. And then the biggest thing is just the brotherhood that we have. It's great conversations that we've had and experiences, and it's more than just a job, it's family. It's amazing. But outside of that, I want to thank you again for the opportunity. It's been a very rich and blessing time for us. And wherever Christian is at, if Carter and Ashley will come to the front and don't say no, or I'll come pick you up and bring you up here. Come up front. That'd be good. In the middle. Yeah, in the middle. In the middle where everybody can see. So just as a gift to you guys, gift doesn't mean as much as the monetary investment that goes into it, but it is just something of significance that hope you'll remember us by. But we've got you an American flag challenge coin holder that's the size of a small interstate billboard. And what I'm going to say is the best challenge coin man has ever put together. It's better than all other LI classes. You can take that to the bank. But it's got the association on the front, and on the back of it, it's got the LI 19, and it's got each one of our department patches surrounding the rim. So, this is for you guys, and it's huge. Imagine that. Bigger than an old coin. Big go home. There you go. But we just thank you, truly thank you. Y'all have been.
Thank you. We enjoyed it, and I hope there's a change in the new group. Thank you very much.
Okay, we'll move to our next committee report. Patty, a little bit fasting.
That's a little bit hard to follow, guys, all that celebration and excitement. So anyway, I'm Patty Graham, the director of the FAST team. I have gotten to speak with a good many of you yesterday and today, and it's really good to see everybody here in one area. How glad were you that when he was talking about have a peer team in place? South Carolina has a peer team in place. We have since 2012. We're continuing to work for you guys, building trainings, different trainings. One of the most recent trainings that we've started is the suicide awareness. We know that several years in a row we've lost more first responders to suicide than we have on duty. So what do? We got to have the conversation, guys. We got to have the conversation. So I don't have a whole lot of imagination, so we're calling the program Starting the Conversation. We have an hour-and-a-half program, our suicide awareness program. We have folks from other departments that have experienced a suicide to come in and share information and answer questions, and then folks get to ask questions. We've already got 4 more lined up I'm excited about, and so if you would like this, it doesn't have to be the same format, it can be different at different departments, but let's get the conversation started. I don't want South Carolina to lose any more first responders to suicide, so your team works hard for you. We're excited to work hard for you, and we look forward to serving you in this year. I made a few notes so I wouldn't be here all day, Mr. President. I know it's coming soon. The health and safety committees that we've been able to work with, the fire and the EMS. I was going to tell you, but Chief Eubanks let you know about the changes in the EMS. I'm excited that he's excited enough that that's important for him to tell you. Excuse me. If you have clinicians in your area that work well with first responders to go for counseling, please have them contact us. Our scfirefighters.org website is up. We have a few problems every now and again, but we're getting those straightened out. So have them contact us so we can make sure when we have a need, we have people there to meet that need, please. That's a good partnership to have. Post-critical incident seminar. Anybody in the room ever heard of one of those? Ever attended one of those? SC LEAP, South Carolina Law Enforcement Assistance Program, puts those on one every quarter. What we are working towards is having one for EMS and fire in November of this year. It's a lot of work, it's a lot of dedication, it's a lot of information, but SC LEAP's working with us very closely, but keep your eye out for that. Right now, it will be the same for us, but folks who've been through an incident, a traumatic incident, and are just not quite getting where they need to be, this is a really good place for them and their significant others to come. And it's exciting, so I look forward to telling you more about it. Anybody that knows me knows I can stand up here and talk fast all day, but that is my
They'll be working Sunday, so I know they're out busy, incident.
Thank you guys for being here. I know Rick Kramer went over basically everything that we were going to do. Just want to make sure that you take back the information to your departments. Have them call us, your neighboring departments, let them know that they can be looking out in the mail for those things to come, and to give us a call to come and talk to your departments individually. You know that we love to do that and see you, so that's part of what we do. If you want to go to the next slide, I think the most important thing that you heard Chief Dillon say is that we've made some changes to Fire Rescue Conference, and one of those changes is the memorial service. It will be now held on Sunday at 2 o'clock instead of Saturday. So that's a difference that we're doing. But we want to make sure that if you get that word out there of the change, it's also going to be at the Coger Center, which is right across the street. One of the main things that I wanted to stress to you, though, is we usually have about 100 to 105 people pass away every year that we honor. Unfortunately, about 60 of those families have escorts from the fire departments that they were members at. So I truly encourage you, if you have somebody being honored, please send an escort. You know, if an officer can't come, that's fine, just somebody to be with that family. I mean, you can't imagine how they just light up when they have that, you know, that support of being there. And I just encourage that you do that. It's a special time to them, and to be able to give back to the family. So we look forward to it. Of course, if you have any questions, you know where we are. Appreciate you being here. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'll be brief. I know lunch is on the way, so I'm going to stand between you. One of the goals of the life safety section was to increase membership. We're on the right path. We've had some new members join. That's the goal, is to get those new members involved and get those new ideas. I do want to take the time to thank Chief Jenkins and Chief Helms from our own department who stepped up, and they signed up 13 new members, not just members of fire prevention, but it was also imperative to get members of the command staff and executive staff on this section to share those ideas as well, and we appreciate that. Also, we want to continue working alongside State Fire. Recently, we had a fatal fire up in Powdersville area. Well, Life Safety Section, along with State Fire and American Red Cross, we've worked together to form a Blitz Day that will take place on February. Send an email out to all members of the section. We invited folks to come and help. Chief Albright's been instrumental, and working together with him has been a blast and making sure we push our life safety messages even further. Another thing that we've been working on is a new grant that will be open to all members of the section or to your departments. We named it the Aaron Smallwood Grant after an individual who's worked tirelessly in this state to increase fire and life safety education. That will work by, your department will be awarded $250, and that will be used to support and shore up your community risk reduction programs. Of course, it's $250 now. Our goal eventually is to raise that amount through sponsorship and through some creative partnerships. And our first vice president is working on that as well as far as getting sponsorships and partnerships. He and I will be traveling to Tennessee for Vision 2020 conference. There, our goal is to recruit more sponsors and also find more speakers for this coming Fire Rescue conference. We've decided to combine what was previously just a Life Safety Educators Conference in the beach to the Fire Rescue Conference here in Columbia. Our goal is to reduce the costs on local departments and make sure that we all train together and spend time together. Mr. President, that's my report. And thank you for your time. Enjoy lunch.
Andrew Morris for the officers section. One of the things we're also looking at is to try to increase our participation within the officers section, but also to gain some new members. So if you're a chief officer or a company officer, we want you to realize that this is a valuable section for officer development. We have a lot of resources in place, many of which are available right on the website. Your officers can also sign up and look. It is password protected, but it's a members only section. So basically, they're able to get on the website. They're able to look at new content as we put up new content. Once again, that's for officer development, and it's a little bit more practical officer skills that we're trying to teach. So it's not necessarily textbook, there's no certificates or anything like that, but what it really does is it's a peer-to-peer development program, which I believe we really need in the fire service in a pretty big way. The fire service is evolving and changing a lot, and this is a great way for us to do it. We're also increasing our face-to-face meetings, so we have several things in place now. We actually, for our next quarter, have 2 events we're working on right now, and that'll be a face-to-face meeting. It's a training meeting that we do. Then there are a bunch of resources to begin with. There's a podcast. Battalion Chief Will Vinay does an excellent job with his podcast. I'll be honest, they're really good at kind of motivating, I believe, your company officers. Sometimes it's easy to get a little derailed and lose sight of vision. This podcast is really good about getting your company officers fired back up. We also have tactical series. There's a servant leadership series on there. There's a webcast that we do periodically. And then if you sign up and you miss one of our training meetings, a lot of times we also have those on the website that you can watch later. So all those resources are available to you, but you got to make sure your company officers are signing up. So that's going to be for lieutenants and above. And so I really want to encourage you kind of put a challenge out there. This is a valuable leadership and officer development program. So I encourage you guys to spread the word. They can sign up right on the website.
Yes, I'm not Jamie Jono. I know he's been doing this for a long time. As you can see, he's been very busy, so I've been able to step up and fill up a void that a very important program we have in our association as far as the foundation. So I'm still learning. I've only been doing this about 15, 20 days or so I'm still learning a few things. But a couple of special things we do have is the 2 scholarships that were established earlier a while back. The Larry Williams Award. I would like to announce Jaquan Jenkins Johnson from the Sumter Fire Department. I think he's here somewhere. If he'll stand up. Congratulations to you, sir. And the Sam Carvis Award, Scholarship Award, goes to Chancellor Minnie. I don't think he's here, but congratulations to him as well. So keep those in mind as you're going through programs. They're out there, they're available. We'll follow up on those later. A couple of things I need to mention. Annual conference, golf is going to be on Wednesday this year. Moved it up. Places to be determined. We're working toward that, working at some programs and making that very good, as it's always very successful. And Friday night, the Fireflies baseball. That was a good turnout last year, a great time, worthy cause, and it's a good fundraiser for our foundation. Have any ideas or want to be involved in our foundation, please give me a call, contact me, however, and we'll go from there. Thank you, Mr. President.
At this time, we have any old business? All right, ready? Any new business?
Yes. I have issued over the past year that
we'd probably run into some other people would run into it. Had a young man when he was about 14, 15 years old, pestered the hound of us, and we'd be glad to have him as a fireman. He finally come to see me when he was about 18 years old, and he'd done something stupid. And he turned around and had a felony conviction. I did my due diligence, I investigated, and it turns out that he committed a burglary from another fire department in another part of the state. We turned him down. He continued to go on and on and on until he finally come across a chief for one reason or another that actually put him on a department. He still come around there. I had to go back and see his parole officer and have a word of wisdom with him and tell him he expected him to be off the department and whatnot. Anyway, in my research, what really got me that didn't make any dang sense was the fact that he was a convicted felon and I had the option to add him to my membership. That doesn't make any sense to me. I would recommend that the organization here as the Firefighters Association go to the legislature or whatever it takes, because the NSRI just don't fly, is that you can't do that. If it comes up and they hit that thing, that threshold, he's out for 10 years. That's not my thing, that's the law. It should be in there that I don't get that option. If there is some reason that they get a buy, they should have to go to the administration or something and there should be a bypass. I'm not in it to throw him away forever. But the law says 10 years, and if it's a political thing or somebody's just in a hurry or something to go in, that shouldn't be there. That shouldn't be catching there. That should be a professional thing.
Okay, you got thumbs up? Good. Okay, thank you. Anybody else in new business? One thing I want to remind everybody is there's dues. The 31st is another deadline for dues and all your forms, 206, 207 forms. Please make sure you get that done before the 31st. Pass it on to your neighbors and even some of your new chiefs that's been voted into your departments that are struggling to get the forms done. Please pass that on to get the dues and 206, 207 forms done. At this time, if I can get Jonathan Jones, please, to come up. You got anything you like that? It's got two other people on here. I don't know if you want to include them.
No, we're going to make this quick. we're here. If you want to hear about what we got going on, find us. We got a lot of great training opportunities coming up through the Fire Academy. Hazmat weekend, the Chief Executive Officer weekend is already full. We're looking at doing another one of those in the fall. We're in the process of building unmanned aerial vehicle awareness, ops, and technician courses that'll prepare you for your pilot's license if that's something you're looking into. We're also doing a large animal technical rescue seminar coming up. We're hosting the State Urban Search and Rescue Alliance Conference in November at the Fire Academy. Lots of stuff going on. Find us, we'll tell you more. If you got questions, go to our website, follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and all those other things.
I'll be quick as well. Just a couple of updates, things that are coming up. April 1st will be the next quarterly meeting for the Chiefs Association at the Fire Academy. Also that day, we will have a line of duty death memorial for firefighter Portland who passed away from Lexington County this past year. So again, April 1st for that. May 15th and 16th, there will be an executive leadership seminar in Clinton. Chief Russell has acquired some money to put on a seminar. He brought in some big name speakers who are planning to be there that weekend, as well as that's their town festival going on at the same time, so he's encouraging family to come to Clinton and take part in that. 2020 Fire Leadership South Carolina Conference will be September 24th and 26th back at the Doubletree in Myrtle Beach. Check the website, scfirechiefs.com for information, and this year Gordon Graham will be one of the keynote speakers at this year's conference, so I look forward to a good conference.
All right, by alphabetical order, we will ask that the two candidates would like to have a few minutes at the podium, and Zane Helms is the first one up.
I know everybody's ready to go at once, so I'll be as brief as possible. My name is Jamie Helms. For those of you that don't know me, I've been in the fire service here in South Carolina for over 32 years, or right at 32 years, I should say. Next week will be the starting 33. So, but I'm running for 4th Vice President, and Coming out of Leadership Institute made a major impact on me and had me to really rethink what role I was playing in the state. And so over the next probably 2 months after our December meeting, I started talking to my fire chief first and then going out and talking to other folks around the state just to gauge what kind of candidate they thought I would be, and would I be someone who would be worthy of the opportunity to run for 4th Vice President. And I'm going to skip through a lot of other stuff, but basically the question that kept coming up is, what's your vision? And so as I thought more and more about it, and seeing what we saw in Leadership Institute, what I would love to see happen in this fire service is us to continue to build those bridges for inclusion and involvement. A lot of our folks are starting to feel like they don't have the way to get included, even though I think that's just not true. And I think we need to build those bridges and bring people to the table as we look at what are the impacts of every other county around this area, every city, and try to get the best information we can to make the wisest decisions for the state fire service. But for that to happen, we've got to be involved. All of us have to be involved. And when I started looking at running, and I was looking at some of the maps, I'm going to leave you with this part right here, and I'll be around the rest of the weekend to talk more about it. I'll be coming around to talk to all of your associations as best I can. If you want to Facebook, FaceTime, whatever you want to do, I'll make it work to be able to get a chance to talk to your people. But I want to leave you with this part. When Skip was our president, his theme was, let's race to the future. And we've done a lot of great things as we move toward the future. And the future is moving very fast. And we have to have inclusion of all our members to be successful and to continue down that path of success as an association. And the only way that happens is people have to get involved. And we've got to start with voting. Doesn't matter if you vote for me, if you vote for Chief Hendricks, doesn't matter. We just got to get out and vote. We've got to register our delegates, and we've got to vote. 600 firefighters in the Columbia Fire Department didn't have their voice heard last year because I missed the deadline and we didn't get them registered. They didn't get a chance to have their delegates vote. We have to do better. I'm calling myself out. I want every fire chief in here to go back and make sure that we get our delegates registered and they vote. Regardless of who you pick who you think is going to be the right person for your fire department to lead this state in the direction it needs to go. But we have to make a commitment to being involved and inclusive and allow people to have their voices heard through whatever committees and whatever other type of options we have. Thank you. I'll be around all weekend. Please get a card from me if we don't get a chance to talk so that we can connect on social media, connect on email, whatever it takes. Appreciate the time. Thank you for letting me speak.
Thank you, Mr. President. I spoke to you in the fall quarterly back in October, and I've had a lot of success traveling the state since then. It's been an interesting journey. I've learned a lot, and there's 2 takeaways, and I'm going to make this quick because I know everybody's hungry out here in stomach's growling. Number 1, we like to eat, which is why I'm trying to hurry. And number 2, we have some amazing people in the state. Our fire service is rich with a lot of culture. We have a lot of amazing people that support that culture. It all goes back to the volunteers. I came from a volunteer-based department or combination, but there's very few volunteers left in my department, so I kind of lose touch with the volunteer side. So getting out into the state and seeing so many volunteers has really raised an attention for me that they are the ones that hold the fire service together. Just a quick story, and this is one of my favorites. One of my first speaking ventures was in the Midlands. Spoke, obviously nervous, kind of rushed through it. When I was getting to leave, a guy jumped in front of my car. I was like, oh, Lord. And he tapped on the window. He did this. I said, oh, God. So he said, hey, were you ever a volunteer? I said, yes, sir. He said, just make sure that our voice is heard. He said, we're often forgotten. He said, I just want to make sure that you understand that. And it really hit home. The volunteers are the backbone of this fire service. So thank you to those guys. One guy told me that he had been driving trucks and had worked a second job and been up for 26 hours, but he said he was not missing his meeting. So that resonates with me. So thank you. I look forward to the support. Like Jamie said, make sure you vote. It's extremely important. It doesn't matter which candidate. And it doesn't matter what year it is, just make sure you're voting, make sure your voice is heard. If I'm not afforded the opportunity, I'm not going to stop trying to push for the health and safety of South Carolina. It's very important. Thank you.
Last minute instructions, box lunches are set up in the hotel lobby. Please get your lunch, and tables are located around, the patios out back. Please visit your sponsors out in the hallway. Please show your thanks to them for being here as well. And our afternoon session will begin at 1:30. I know we're a little bit off track. For 1:30, we'll try to get the second round going at 3:30. And then tonight, we'll have coffee and dessert. Round table at 8 o'clock. So if you go out tonight for supper, please come back at 8 o'clock for the round table discussion. We look forward to Mr. Craig Cooper and Mr. Paul Daughtry being in our discussion tonight. At this time, if I can get the chaplain to come up, say a blessing for us.
I can handle it right here.
There you go.
Let's pray. Father, thank you for this morning. Thank you, Father, for everything that's been said and done. It's been a great morning. Prepare us for a wonderful afternoon today. Bless this food now. We ask all this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Do I have a motion for adjournment?